Hey, what's up folks, this is Shahil. So, wouldn't it be cool if I tell you that you could upgrade your smartphone camera without upgrading your smartphone by itself? Well then, you'd be glad to know that you can do it with the help of Gcam mode. First thing, what is Gcam? Well, Gcam is a short form for Google Camera. So this Google Camera thing is actually made for Google Pixel smartphones. And if you're into tech at all, you'd know that Google Pixel captures very good photos. But the thing is that it's just made for Google Pixel and not for the rest of the world. So, third-party developers set out to make Google Camera available for most people out there with a smartphone. So that modified version of Google Camera is known as Google Camera Modified, aka Gcam mode. So now then, let's look at some photos captured by Gcam. The main feature of Gcam is its HDR+, meaning its high dynamic range. Now, the high dynamic range is also available in most of the camera applications, but Gcam's HDR+ is actually very good, and the processing is actually very cool, which I'll be talking about in just a moment. The Gcam offers better details in the images. It doesn't soften the image as much as your camera application does, and that is a very good thing. The overall images are way better, it's sharp, it's detailed, and also it's realistic and true to life colors also play a huge part in the quality of Gcam. But the catch is that sometimes your camera application might take better photos than what Gcam does. And that is because the Gcam application doesn't have night sight if you're using Android 8. If you have any phone which is running Android 9 or above, congrats, you can run Gcam with night sight, but if you don't, you can't run Gcam with night sight. And also, if your phone is Android 9 or above, you might or might not get astrophotography features in the Gcam mode. Now let's talk about selfies. Selfies are also very good. The things that I talked about on the main camera also apply to the selfies. Better detail, pretty much not unrealistic softening, true to life colors, realistic results, everything applies to the selfie mode. And let's talk about the portrait mode. Portrait mode photos are actually very good than what I expected it to be. It actually has very good background separation, and the subject just stands out, and also the HDR and other features just applies in portrait mode. And you know what the best part is? It works every single time you try. Now the Gcam app is actually very bad for videos, I'd say, and the main reason is that Gcam isn't made for video. It's actually aimed for photography and actually does very good in photography, but when it comes to the video side of things, maybe you should reconsider your camera application. Now let's come to the main point that everyone wants to know. How do you install Gcam in your smartphone? It's actually a very simple process. You just go to Google search, you just type in the smartphone name along with Gcam mod. So then you would actually get a Gcam mod if your phone is optimized for one. But for some reason, if your phone isn't optimized for Gcam, don't worry, you can download universal applications, which means that it'll work on every single phone you throw at it. And after you got the Gcam application, just install the APK file, restart your phone, and then enjoy better photos. Now, if somebody is watching this video, a question might pop in your mind. Why does Gcam take better photos than my smartphone camera does? And the main reason is the image processing. Now, for you to understand why Gcam takes better photos, you need to understand this thing called image processing. And it's actually a very complex topic. But if experts are watching this video, don't hit up the comment, because I'm actually giving you a very simplified version of an overly complex topic of image processing. All you need to understand is that your smartphone doesn't actually capture what you get in the camera application. Not any camera application does that. When you click the shutter button, it actually gets a raw image, uncompressed. It would have all the sensor information you need, and then the camera application decides whether the photo needs to be cool, whether the photo needs to be warm, or etc. Now, if you're actually getting two cool images from your smartphone, it's actually because the camera application decides that in the situation, you should actually give the camera a very cool look. And once it's done all the processing, it actually converts all that information into a JPEG file, which is actually easy to carry around and actually very small for your smartphone. And this is the simplified version of image processing. Now, this by itself is not the reason why Gcam takes better photos. Gcam actually takes better photos because Gcam has better image processing algorithms. Actually, Google has put in lots and lots of effort into Google's image processing algorithms, and that might be one of the reasons why Google Pixel and the Google Camera application takes better photos. It has better dynamic range, the HDR+, and that data plus the image processing algorithms actually gives you better true-to-life realistic colors and images. Now let's look at some main drawbacks of the Gcam application, which would actually influence your choice of whether you should actually go with Gcam or not. First of all, the developer should have ported your phone to optimize Gcam for your smartphone. And like I said, if it's not optimized, you can actually go and opt for a universal Gcam application. But the main thing is that since your Gcam isn't made with only your phone model in the mind, it would actually crash. It would crash very much. It would crash to an extent that sometimes you just open Gcam, it would actually force close the application. And the video capabilities aren't good, so it might or might not influence your choice. And these are all the things that you might be able to forgive. But the main thing is that the Gcam application, if you're running on Universal APK, it might not be able to optimize the full potential of your smartphone. But let's say that your smartphone has two useful cameras, the main sensor and an ultra-wide sensor. The Gcam might not be able to take the potential of the ultra-wide camera. Now there are many bummers like that, so that might influence your choice of whether you should install Gcam. Well, if all of these sounds good, if you're ready to deal with all of these quirks, if you're ready to forgive all of the Gcam's disabilities, well, you can just go to Google and then install Gcam straight away. But before that, make sure to subscribe to this channel, like this video, and share to the friends who you think this will be worth. Until we meet the next time, goodbye.